going on until 10:45 anyway, just to account for any extra couple minutes of working things out. But audio sounds good. You connected with no problem. So there's really nothing to worry about.
Yeah, no, it was scaring me at first because it was saying not connecting to the headphones, to the microphone. But I mean, I use this stuff like every day. So it's just a little bit like, what's going on? I just had to refresh the page and it was fine. The classic IT fix.
Yep. And for me, I was in there, and there's a separate program, like, a Logitech program, because I'm just using a standard webcam, and that's it. And the coloring can sometimes be a little weird when you first jump in. And so I was like, you know what? Since I got a few minutes, maybe I can fumble around with this and make it not look so just white and washed out, So I did that.
I have like a bright screen looking at me right now. I'm just reflecting.
And then just decided, like, you know what? I don't want to do anything now. I'm like, okay, maybe I asked you to do too much. So I went in there and just kind of switched that around. EW, what's going on, man? See, that's what I was talking about. You get the thing going on, and eventually people start to see it. So he was in the live I did. Was that yesterday? There's a sneaker battle thing, and he won the Bam Bam Bigelow question.
Oh, nice.
Well, it was what was it? Who did he fight at WrestleMania 11, which was Lawrence Taylor? So
wait, Lawrence Taylor, like LT, like the football player?
Yeah. And I was watching that match earlier in the day, and they had a lot of star power going into that match, because it was a big thing. So he had his crew on the side, and then Bam Bam had his crew of wrestlers on the side. So I don't know how much money they paid out to make that happen, but it had to have been a fair amount, like a lot. Actually, Salt and Pepper was there too on the side of the stage, like, because I guess they performed the entrance music for somebody that night.
Huh.
So, yeah, WrestleMania, they go all out. It's a pretty big deal.
Yeah, I never really followed wrestling since like the 80s. I think, that was kind of like my heyday, was just watching a little bit there. My biggest wrestler, the biggest whatever. I was the biggest fan of Too Cold Scorpio. I don't know if you remember him. He was like, he came on the scene and he was just doing like flips and stuff, like all these kind of lumbering guys. And then, Scorpio was just flipping around them. And yeah, he's basically like a ninja in the ring. I love that guy.
And it's crazy because he was doing that. Like, he might still be wrestling. Well, not a lot of people are right now for obvious reasons, but I remember seeing him advertised on a wrestling card, maybe 2019. So he's still there. I mean, it's what you know, so you just do that forever. And
yeah, he just
he's saying it's a showcase of the immortals. And Robert Valentine, what's going on?
No, that's about my wrestling knowledge right there, and any kind of crossover they make into movies. And I'm like, oh, okay, I know that.
Right. Yeah, I've seen very few of the movies. I need to make some time for that. Because people keep telling me to watch, like, They Live with Rowdy Piper.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
so
absolutely, They Live. He's here to chew bubblegum and kick ass, and he's all out of bubblegum. Oh, absolutely. Love it.
I've known of that line. I didn't even know that line was from that movie until recently. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. It's been around forever. I'm sure you've heard it before.
Oh, yeah.
My gosh. It's weird watching it like on the YouTube now. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, there's a slight delay there.
Yeah.
But so what we're here for, you can probably tell from the thumbnail that I spent several seconds making while I was cooking dinner. So
you took a picture of you, like, there we go, I did it.
Yeah, then I just kind of scribbled on it. So EW says to open the box, and so that's what we're going to do. We're here to open boxes, and we're going to get right to it. You can probably tell, I think you can tell, that I have two over here. So
I had two, but then I opened one a couple days ago. I couldn't help it.
Yeah. Oh, actually, real quick, go ahead and tell people who you are and everything.
And
Yeah.
I'm John from Predator Minute. My buddy Jeff and I ran this podcast until just a couple weeks ago of breaking down the 1987 movie Predator 1 minute at a time. And just over the last couple of years, I've really become like into the collecting of sneakers, specifically Ultra Boost and most other kind of sporty Adidas shoes. I kind of blame it all on Into the Spider-Verse when he's wearing the Chicago, the high top, not low tops. But I remember watching that and thinking like, I really like those sneakers. And I bought a pair of the low Chicagos. And then I really researched into like, what are the big comfortable sneakers these days? Cause I'm into comfort. And then everybody was saying Ultra Boost. And that was like 2 years ago. And so now I'm on quite a large collection of Ultra Boost. Definitely cycling some out as I bring some new ones in. And yeah, that's me.
All right, cool. Appreciate that. And you guys know me, pretty much the same thing. I got into the Ultra Boost line in 2016 and no regrets. I have a whole bunch of them now. And in the future, I'm sure I will have that many more. So I'll go ahead and get this box cut open.
You were, and I definitely found you on YouTube. You were one of the few people who was consistently putting out Ultra Boost videos. And I think the very first one I watched of you was the rare Korea pair. It's like a all white pair, except for like some hits of red and blue, and it's asymmetrical. And I just love the look of them. And like, yeah, it was just really cool following you. And then I saw like, oh, you came back to the States and now you're still keeping up with that. And obviously your sneaker collection has blown up significantly in just like the last year.
Yeah. Those, believe it or not, I still haven't worn those. Those are Climas, if I remember correct.
Yeah.
I got the Japanese pair also, and I don't remember if that was before or after those.
Was that the kind with like the firework on the heel?
Yeah, those.
Yeah.
So here we go, black Adidas box. And what do you know? That's what we're looking at. So,
all right, do you want me to grab mine too?
Yeah, go ahead.
I know you always wear the shirt to match what you're unboxing, so it was kind of, I was trying to see, like, are you going to wear the navy pair? Because the navy pair I don't think came out till like a few days after.
Yeah, actually, I was thinking about that earlier, and then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to throw this on. So today is one of those rare times when I did, because I did my sneaker recap earlier this morning. So, okay.
All right, I had to do the Volt. Yeah, it's like, I'm like you, I like that bright colorway.
So go ahead and get these things pulled out here, and here we go. So I don't remember the name of this particular colorway. So yeah, and as you see, I'll get into the second box in a second here, but we'll start with you.
Yeah, I think this one they just called the Solar Yellow, if I remember correctly. This is, right, you can clearly see it's not all yellow. There was a pair that's all yellow, kind of like Ultra Boost 20, that we both, I think, bought off Shields sometime last year.
Hibbett, right?
Oh, Hibbett, okay. I kind of mixed up like those smaller sneaker outlets, or sorry, generally sporty stores that we happen to buy sneakers from. But you can see like, I don't know, you can see the pink Ultra Boost lettering there, kind of like a, I don't know, like a dark gray, almost translucent heel cup there. There you go.
Yeah.
And if you've seen Ultra Boost 21 videos, it's not going to be a lot of new information that we're giving, but I think there's only one other video like of this pair specifically online that I saw lately.
And that's the thing, because like, and I'll switch over to me, like, there's not a whole lot that I can say just yet, because I did take it out of the box. But this pair is, you can kind of tell it's like a bit of a black and a bit of a gray. The labeling on the side there is kind of a sort of a Volt colorway. Same with what's on the tip of the tongue there. But overall, like, and obviously I haven't worn these because I just took them out of the box. You saw that, but I'm curious how they'll feel. And at first it looked like there was a split in the sole or something, the way they did that. It's not, it's just slightly colored with an indentation. So I wonder how that's going to feel, because this looks like it looks like it's going to be crazy comfortable because of how thick the sole is on here.
Mm-hmm.
And then I wonder about, because one of the things I always talk about is the durability of the bottom here. And it looks like it's labeled as being Continental still down here. So I'm guessing that's all throughout. It's just that there seems to be a lot less outsole than usual. Because normally, and I don't have another pair near me, I don't know, But normally it's just a lot more sole and prime blue is their standard now. So I'm curious how they'll feel. They feel pretty decent though, honestly.
Yeah, they feel, I would say, even firmer in a lot of areas, especially that outsole. You're mentioning like not having another pair yet, like an older pair to compare to, but right here, like this boost, I feel like is a lot deeper past the Continental rubber than usual. Usually, I feel like that boost is really close to the bottom of the outsole, and just all around, like it's like kind of removed from the actual outsole. So if you hold it, you can see kind of like that layering, like it's like kind of dips down. So I think that's going to protect the boost, and I feel like that rubber is a little bit, a little bit more firm in some areas versus like on an older or just a DNA model, even of Ultra Boost, where it's like softer rubber.
Right. So I'm going to go grab a pair of 20s real quick since I have some out, just to do like comparison.
Oh, okay. And this is the FY0373. Ooh, even more pink. Love that neon. This could be like a Miami pair or something like that. I don't know, when you wear in the Art Deco district. And I've watched quite a few videos on the 21, of course, because I'm an Ultra Boost fan. And even though this is supposed to be even thicker or more boost than usual, than past models, even the 20, what I've heard is that as your heel sits in there, it actually sits past some of the boost. So your heel is not resting here. It's actually down a little bit, while the boost is kind of partially encasing your heel.
And see, that's one of the things that I was wondering about. Because I was looking at them earlier today when I was doing the sneaker recap thing, and I was like, mentally, I'm thinking, your foot's probably going to be, or your foot's going to be probably higher up, but like it can't be all the way up there.
No.
And even when you look at it from the back, you can kind of tell where the boost does dip down in the middle.
Mm-hmm.
So when you look at it like in this section in the middle, it does kind of bring it down just a bit compared to the outsides. So it kind of has a U shape in a way. So this right here being a 20, this a collegiate navy and solar red, I believe it is.
That's a great colorway. I love that colorway of the 20.
This is the first colorway that I really wanted. It's not the first pair that I wanted. I mean, excuse me, not the first pair that I bought. It's just the first one that truly caught my attention. Mm-hmm. So here you go. You kind of give you a side view there. So that's like the difference in boost in the back. It's crazy when you look at it side to side, you know? It makes these just look like so inferior. But still, like, the weight is about the same, you know what I mean? It might be off by like a bit small fraction, you know what I mean? Because this is a little thicker, so you probably imagine it's something there. But otherwise, the materials are solid, you know? Like, just looking at what's going on down here, but behind as the tongue is and all that stuff, they feel, I don't want to say they feel thick, but they feel thicker, you know what I mean? Not like,
maybe bulkier a little bit might be the right word.
Yeah, because this sort of feeling here is more like where did I put those? I just had them out. Now I have no idea. I had a pair of 9117 or 9118s out, and the thickness when you just grab this here, that's what that feels like. But real quick before I forget, I do have another box over here, because here's the thing, right? And I'll put the screen on you so you can show those.
Here's the thing. I love the transition. Here's the thing.
So when I made this first order, right, I put it in and then I just kind of moved on about my day. And then the next day or something, Adidas was like, hey, your order is going to be delayed. And I was like, what? And so I looked at it and I was like, I had already seen other shoes on the site. So I was like, well, maybe I'll just get a different color and I'll just cancel that one because I don't think I ordered them right when they went on sale. So maybe they did move a little quicker and they're just going to be behind on those. So I figured I'll just buy another pair, a different color anyway.
What?
And so that's what happened. So now I'm going to, And then I just said, well, once the order was in, and they both ended up shipping at the same time and arriving at the same time. So now I also have this pair,
Oh,
which
you
is
went to all volts. Look at you.
the full-on Volt with, well,
Oh,
minus this little pink area down on the bottom here. So yeah, and these are bright. I mean, you can probably tell.
yeah, I can tell by how much light they're reflecting.
I mean, this here is a little dark. The cage. This is a very solid feeling cage. I just noticed that.
If that cage looks a little bit different than, yeah, even the one I have. I feel like this one is kind of translucent. Yeah, translucent. I don't know about that all volt.
Yeah.
It looks a little bit more solid even.
It does feel that way too. It feels thicker than this here black pair. So I mean, and you probably noticed that with certain releases as well. You know, that says that shoe's got some junk in its trunk. Yes. OG 645. What's going on? Yeah, there's a lot. I'm looking forward to putting these on. And this is like a metallic. I just noticed when you.
Yeah, look at that.
So that's pretty cool. Yeah. And that's the thing about these. Sometimes different pairs, they're all the same, but they'll have slightly different details. And one thing I did notice, I don't know if it's going to show up right around in here. You can see it says Prime Knit kind of embedded into the upper.
Yeah, I love that relief right there. I love how it's just kind of pushed into the fabric versus like another logo stuck on or like a sticker or something glued on there. Yeah, I have the same thing, of course. With the...
Yeah. Where's that EQT? I just had it out somewhere. It's like when you have a lot of shoes around and then you clean up, you know?
Oh, yeah. I have them all localized in the garage. So there's one place for all the shoes. It's just a matter of making sure the boxes don't squish each other.
So this review hasn't been put out yet because I keep neglecting to actually shoot the on foot portion, and that's half the review. But these here,
what are those? Like, EQT 9117s? Is that what they're called?
18 for this 18. Pair. Yeah. Now I'm not going to get into the whole difference because I can't. But yeah, they had the 17s and the 18s, and I wish I had bought more of these when they were relevant, you know. But at the time, I only thought about it, and I never actually pulled the triggers. So they were pretty good, though. They had a pretty good run as far as people's feelings of them. But
are they pretty comfortable? I hear a lot of good things about the EQTs.
Yeah. I was walking around in these, and compared to, because they remind me visually of the night jogger, right?
Oh, okay. Yeah, totally.
But they're a lot more comfortable. They just feel a lot better. And especially down, the midsole is super chunky on here, especially compared to, because, for the most part, even though the 20s are a little bigger, it's not a huge difference compared to like the 4s, right?
Right.
But the midsole here on these EQTs to me is way better. It just feels more cushiony than the 4s because I figured that was the best comparison. However, the upper of this, because of, it's a lot more. Let me hit this on the big screen. Because there's a lot more going on, a lot more fabric, a lot more material in general. It is a heavier shoe, but it gives you a little bit more of a secure feel. So if say you're going to use these as a gym shoe, that wouldn't be a bad idea because you're going to feel a little bit more secure if you're in there moving around and maybe you're doing like some CrossFit type things or something like that, Because that's one of the issues in my mind with the Ultra Boost is that there's not a lot of security in there. If you're going like making side to side motions, you're basically wearing a sock.
Yeah, I think I've told you through the messaging though. I kind of have some spare time sometimes when I can shoot some hoops, and I feel like the 20s are pretty solid for that. I've been wearing those a lot lately while I play. Probably not the best like to land in all the time because I can like just feel the bottom of my foot stretching out a little bit more than it should probably, but still like just I feel like it locks it down pretty well. Yeah,
and that's because these are part of that is just the upper because this is when they switched over to the prime blue, right? So being that it's not a straight up knit, because that's one of the things like with the 19s it was just knitted, so it gave you a little bit more freedom in there. But if you want some security, this is your guy compared to the 19, you know? So as
Yeah,
you're saying, you're going to be playing some sports like that. Yeah, you might want to, between the two, go this route.
especially around the toe box region. The toe box on the 20 is just looks so solidly put together compared to previous
Yeah,
versions.
yeah, they do have a pretty solid design here. I
I
like
did go ahead.
these little lines that they have in there, you know,
Yeah,
where it's kind of little arches or whatever. Let me bring this up for a second.
it's like someone
Those-
hand stitched that.
Yeah, I don't know how that's showing up, but I don't know, I just kind of like the way that is. And in some models, and as you've seen, like they can mess around with that with the coloring to kind of give it a different vibe. This, it's all just the flat navy, which is fine. But when you look at like I think it's the Oreo pair, I think those have black arches or
Oh
whatever you
yeah, that
call
stands
them.
out really well. Where it's like
Yeah,
the black on white
exactly.
repeated stitching. I did open one other pair a couple days ago. Came in the mail like pretty much the same day as the 21s, and these are a pair of DNA 4.0s. I saw these and I thought, wow, I really like those. It has the black
Uh,
boost there. You can see the
those those are
orange.
nice.
Yeah, really nice. I really like having the black boost because I feel like it's more of an all-weather shoe that way. And here in the Northwest, it just is cold and rainy and slushy, and way less likely to show up on foot with that dark boost. You kind of have like your matte black stripes there. You have another like orange accent there. I know some people online really didn't like the orange accents. I don't mind at all because I like a little bit of color.
Yeah, because I
Now, and
noticed
obviously, yeah.
I
Anyway,
know they do that with certain ones, like the color on the labeling on the side and on the tongue will be slightly different. But since they usually match those in a lot of the cases, I say it's fine, right? If it was, let's say it was only on the tongue, then sometimes it can kind of come off a little weird. But in this particular case, I'm cool with it for sure.
right. I mean, you could even argue, oh, give me some orange lace tips to kind of tie it all together. I could see someone like maybe putting black laces on these too, but these are 4.0 DNAs. Yes, still also with the prime blue, like everything that they're making, at least that I see boost wise. But they just, after wearing them for a day, like they just feel like another pair of Ultra Boosts. So super comfortable. They have like kind of almost that 3.0 pattern, like that just straight striped pattern, but you can see like a little bit of 4.0 like arrowing in the toe box, how it goes kind of like the 1.0, or even like the 21 definitely went more that route.
Yeah, these 21s, as I look at them a little bit more, they kind of remind me of the one pair of two. No, well, okay, I have more than one pair of 2.0s, but they kind of remind me of the 2.0s a little bit, just the way they did this area, you know,
Sure.
because they have that line along the side and then this different stitching on the middle area, which you can kind of a little bit on the what was that, the DNA 4Ds, the Ultra 4Ds that I picked up, you know, because those have that just a whole mix of things going on with the upper.
That was funky. Yeah.
They look crazy. Do you have any of those yet?
No, I've just been watching videos, and as soon as they talk about comfort, it's just like, no, I'm okay. Like, I'll stick to the Boost, because then when I hear them say like, oh, you have to break them in, that's one of the things I've always liked about Boost, is that it just feels great out of the box.
Yeah, and that's the same thing I was getting into when I did my performance reviews between the 19s and the VaporMax Flyknit 3s. Or two, whichever was newest at the time. I mean, the VaporMaxes are cool and all. You know, I'm not going to say it's a bad running shoe. It's just they can be a little stiff, you know. And even if you have broken them in before, when you pull them out again, sometimes if it's been a little while, it's almost like you're breaking them in all over again. And I didn't really care for that. When I'm ready to go, I just want to be able to go, and that's where the Boost comes in, because you can't go wrong with that. You just, like you said, you pull them out of the box, and that's it.
Yeah. Well, speaking of running, are you gonna do like a performance review of these? Like run some miles, some kilometers?
That's the plan. I know. I don't know if you saw the Light Strike review that I did, but I I don't want to repeat that because that week was kind of terrible. I ran a lot that week. I think it was like 3 miles a day for like that 4 or 5 days or something. Just
good for you.
It was like a mile and a half and something, and then I'd switch.
Yes, I remember that. I think you compared it to the Infinity, maybe.
Yeah, because like, what was it? I did actually there. Yeah, because there's one day I also did some running in those, but I had a fresh pair of, it might have been 20s, I think, that I was also running with. Because the thing is, sometimes when you have a newer shoe that's cheaper,
Mm-hmm.
it can perform close to something more expensive every now and then.
Oh, absolutely.
And I mean, now not in the case of those Dynablast that I had on the other day, but in the case of the Light Strike, the whole selling point was like that it's supposed to be as good as the Boost as far as cushioning goes, but lighter, so they can pack more in, or smaller or whatever, so they can pack more into it and make the shoe overall lighter, but still have that same cushion that you want. And it worked out great. I still want to get a pair of those
Eddie Zeros.
Yes, those, because with I forget how it was constructed, but I think it was like, was it Boost was in the back?
Yeah, it was like a little bit of Boost and then Light Strike the rest of the way. But it did look like when people showed it, like Ed Budd, I think, was showing a pair, it did look like there was more Boost, just kind of like with Light Strike on the outside, weirdly. So like when the forefoot, there was more like a Light Strike covering and then maybe some Boost under it, which I thought was an interesting choice. So it's like you're combining the two technologies, which I think is super cool. I also have a pair or 3 of the SL20s and just really like wearing them, just so lightweight, but like secretly cushioned. Like you wouldn't know it by looking at it. You would think, oh, that looks like a really stiff shoe, really flat to the ground. But no, like it feels really soft and comfortable.
Because I was surprised, because I was just running. I ran a little bit on like a normal outdoor track on a treadmill, and then some little small indoor area where you're like, in this like gym that I go to sometimes. And I was running on those, and I'm like, man, these look very cheap, but they feel great. And so I bought my dad a pair because I know he likes to go running and stuff. And he was up here, and I'm like, hey, I got you these running shoes. They're really good, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh, man, I can't run in these. They're too nice. I'm like, wait, what? So it kind of backfired in some kind of way. But I'm sure like once he's had them for a while and, they start to get a little bit worn, then he'll probably start running in them or something. But he said that because he wore them when he came up here a week or two ago. And,
right.
Oh, how are those working out for you? And he's like, oh, man, like people compliment these all the time. Like, you might remember it was mostly like a pinkish colored pair. It really stands out,
Not the black and white pair, right? Not the black and white where it looks like graffiti on it, kind of.
Correct. Like, because I got that pair. So the pair I got him, it was kind of like I guess a solar pink is probably what they call it, because they like to use solar on that, and it is pink. So, but yeah, he got those. He's been wearing them around, just doing errands and stuff. And I'm starting to see that between him and my mom, they're getting a pretty solid collection of shoes now.
Hey, run to the family, I guess.
Yeah, because I was down there, and my mom, she like works from home right now because of the way things are, and she like walked downstairs, and I'm like, man, she's got, and it was shoes that I bought her, you know what I mean? But I'm like, man, those are some pretty nice. Was it some wheat Air Max 1s, like the winter wheat Air Max 1s, or 90s, excuse me. And it's one of those pairs that like when I post pictures, people are like, man, I wish I had got those. So I see her walk by, and I'm like, man, those do look pretty nice when they're like being worn and stuff. So.
And you had bought those for her.
Yeah, and because she's like, yeah, I think I need one of those racks like you have. I'm like, do you? And now I'm starting to do the math. I'm like, okay, yeah, between like the NMDs, the Ultra Boost, various Air Maxes, a couple Jordans here and there. Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, no, that's cool how you kind of feed a little bit of that hobby for other people too, especially like your family. That's really cool, because I'll hear you talk about sending a pair to your brother and your dad and your mom.
And because that's the thing, like I have a lot,
I
and
know, I know.
since we wear the same size, my brother and I, it's like I can send him a pair and be like, hey, I'm done, because he had said something before. It's like, if you have any, like, you don't have to send me anything new if you just don't want it anymore. I'm not picky. I'm like, all right, sure. So I've sent him a couple pair, I try to space out or whatever, but he seems to be appreciative of it. But now, like when they came up here the first time, I was like, I wonder what they're gonna say about all these shoes in here, because they didn't really, because the way they're sitting, you can't see all of them when you first walk in. But you come in and like right by the door, I have a little rack of like my, shoes that I've just worn or whatever,
Right.
When you turn around the corner, and that's where my little stacks are, like those racks with all Ultra Boosts and Air Maxes or Vapor Maxes. And then, so they see that and like, oh man, that's a lot of shoes. And then if you walk forward more, next to it, you see like all the boxes. And they're like, so are these boxes those shoes? I'm like, no, they're not. Oh, man, that's crazy. And then you walk a little bit further, and like on the other side of this counter, you see all the Air Maxes, like by year. Well, more or less by year. And man, that's crazy. And then eventually they made their way into like the room where like the Jordans and Yeezys are. I'm like, you got shoes in here too? I'm like, yeah. So they're kind of like walking through, and it's just like everywhere they were turning, it was just like shoes until you get over here. Then it's like action figures.
Yeah.
But, yeah. They're cool with it, because they now like them just as much, and like my dad will stand there and look at them like, man, what is this? And so I'll give him like the quick like 2-minute review of it. It's like, oh, okay, that's cool. Like, so they worked with that other brand. I'm like, yeah.
That's neat. Yeah, and like all your sneakers are going to have stories, like you've always shown on your videos. So that's really cool to, be able to share those stories.
Yeah. Hey, Coffee, what's going on? Because that's the thing. It's like, I don't mind that sometimes I'll buy stuff just because it looks cool or whatever, sure. But it's nice to have some kind of story behind it. Like when I was doing my top 10 of 2020, and a lot of those shoes, they weren't like shoes that people were like really going after. It was just stuff that to me was just pretty cool. Or like when I pulled out those Infinity runs, it's like, oh yeah, I did a double unboxing with these and blah blah blah. Or pull out the foam posits, and so yeah, I was able to get these thanks to E-Money, who helped me out. And so stuff like that kind of makes the shoes weigh a little bit more, rather than just saying, yeah, I like these, they're cool and they were on sale, so here we are. Though that does make up a lot of my collection, not gonna lie.
Right. I'm actually putting them on. I realized I had them more in hand than I hadn't even put them on foot yet, and it feels good. Feels good. I know we're like kind of jumping to like putting them on foot, but I was really worried about this, because this same thing, they had something similar in the SL20.2, which came out just, I think, a couple months ago, like this heel tab. But like the way it's shaped, this heel tab does go away from the heel, which is nice. It's not rubbing up against. I'm someone who doesn't wear like socks past my ankles, so it's like if that's ever against the skin, that's going to really irritate. And so far, that's 20.2s are the only ones to irritate.
Notice that's it's a lot wider. Let me pull this up real quick.
Yeah,
I hadn't really looked at that, but looking at the 21 and the 20, it's a lot wider there too. So that's pretty good. So
is that so someone like steps on your heel when you're walking behind you, like in the hall or something, or on the side? Oh my God, what is the purpose of something like that? It looks like a big kind of shark fin. I don't even know.
Yeah, let me pull this over here, because it does look like it comes out a lot further than here. But I'm curious how that's going to feel. Honestly, like when I look at shoes like this, it makes me think of like a witch's boot or something.
Yeah, I was going to say like a fly ease. Like, what is even the point? It's just, I don't know. It's like you're gonna kick someone behind you.
Because those fly eases, that's a weird one. But weird. It feels pretty similar, just like it's meant more to be grabbed to pull your shoe on. Whereas I guess. Whereas the 20, it feels a little flimsy in some ways, but
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, I've never had a problem. It's just one of those. To me, it's one of those changes where you probably never had a problem with the 20, but when you look at the new one, you're like, okay, I can see how that might make sense.
Right.
And,
It's almost like
and
if your leg is reclining, it gives like your Achilles somewhere to recline against this little.
yeah, and I know it also feels a little more sturdy overall back here, even outside of like where the heel cup is. Just
Yeah,
general area feels a little more sturdy.
it's going back to like that almost a DNA, like the older Ultra Boost models, where it's like an actual cup. It's not like the 3D printed thing. This might still be printed 3D on the 21s, but it definitely is more I don't know, reminiscent of like the 1, 2, 3, 4s.
Yeah,
One solid.
It's funny, like they've been, because like I said, I didn't get in on as soon as they started, but I think my first pair of 2.0s was towards the end of the 2.0 line, because I only bought one pair, and then the next ones, I didn't realize it at the time, but looking back at it now, I see the ones that I bought next, other than the Uncaged, were all like 3.0s. So I think the 3s and the 4s make up the bulk of my Ultra Boost collection, going by all those purple and yellow boxes over there.
I love those boxes. I love the purple and yellow boxes.
Oh yeah, that's. I mean, I got nothing against these. I like that.
I do. They rip. This part rips like as soon as you close it a little bit too firmly, it doesn't line up. This part will rip right in half. This one, right here, right in the middle. It doesn't affect the functionality, but it's super annoying to have to kind of like close it twice in order to tuck it in. I don't know. I don't know why they went away from the Great Boost boxes. It's like those are kind of treasures now, and I find them on eBay or Goat.
I do like the visually more, obviously, but yeah, I never noticed that with these. But I guess it's also given the fact that the boxes that I've received, like the black boxes, a lot of those I don't use a lot because I'll take them out, and a lot of those are just out already, so I'm not really putting them back in. The racks are primarily for the shoes that I go running in the most, so that way I can just grab them, throw them on the rack. Like these were in the box though, but my Volt pair is out, and I think I might have another pair of 20s out as well. I'm not sure, because I know over there it's mostly like the previous models, minus those. What is that? The ZX 4000s and those. There's a pair of Oswegos that's out for some odd reason. I'm not quite sure why.
Are you running an Oswegos?
No, they're just over there. they're just over there hanging out. That's a pair they're comfortable. They're it's kind of deceiving in a way, because they look like they'd feel just bulky and weird, but
they look like that. Yes,
actually pretty decent to walk in though. I mean, they might be okay for running, but I'd say it's kind of like the Presto, right? Like the Presto is a running shoe technically, but I wouldn't do it. So,
right, like I wouldn't really run in these, but I would run in like the 1920s, and I'm going to try out the 21s. Oh, another thing I was kind of visually showing is like, here's your 4.0, and you can just easily just like fold that. There's a lot of that give right there in the upper / outsole, honestly. And like to our point earlier about like the firmness of that outsole, like here's the 21, same amount of pressure. Like I'm I'm having to push in order to fold this, versus this is just something I can kind of just go whoop, whoop, whoop. It's not the same here.
Yeah, so I guess that's closer though to these EQTs, but yeah, I didn't even think about that. But yeah, I am curious to see how these are going to feel once I actually wear them around, just to, like not just around here, but actually out somewhere, do some errands, because it's something new. You know what I mean? And it just makes you want to see what it's all about. These don't have that. Yeah, okay, yeah, they still do. I was curious if these had that line on the outside. You can kind of tell down.
It is an odd line. Yeah, you don't know unless like I think you have it in front of you, or if you hold it up to like your high quality video, if like you can see how it's kind of like a terrace, but like not a terrace like this as much as like it's a terrace under terrace.
Right. And that's the thing. Sometimes when I'm doing reviews, like I'm holding the shoe like this generally talking about it, and so then I'll notice later, oh, there is some stuff going on that side. So then I had to flip it around. But let me grab grab the Ultra 40s real quick. Let's see where these are.
Yeah, and to your point you made a minute ago, it's just really neat to see them try something brand new. Like there's not a lot of carryover from the 19s and 20s, which were kind of like a natural progression. I would say this is like trying something completely new. And just look at the bottom, like almost every Ultra Boost had something like this on the bottom, even the 19s and 20s, which were kind of more squared off out there. But again, like going for something completely different on the outsole. I mean, it's looking to me more like a Pegasus, or I don't know what the Infinities look like on the bottom. But going for more of that kind of running aesthetic there versus something like this, which is now starting to look a lot more clodhoppery compared.
It is a little different in that way. Because I should have brought those SL20s, because those do have a very similar outsole. From what I can recall, the SL20s have a similar outsole to these.
Yeah.
But I'm going to grab. Are these right? Okay, yeah. These. So one of my, I don't want to say it's not going to be a complaint necessarily, but one of the things that I didn't really care for between the Uncaged or 5.0 Uncaged DNA and the Ultra 4D 5.0. It's like in the past, the Uncaged had a completely different not completely, but it had a different upper. So I kind of wish that it still did, because this is a cool look in certain colorways or whatever, because I really like the way these came out.
Yeah.
But I just wish that the Uncaged had a more unique design, so that they didn't just look like these as well, But
yeah, it's that 5.0 upper. I don't know. And the Uncaged itself, it's like that model of Uncaged reminds me of when people used to just uncage their original Ultra Boost like on their own, where they'd cut out the plastic cage.
Right.
That's a lot of what that reminds me of.
Because the older ones, they had like the stripes on the outside, and they had more of a cage on the inside of the shoe to give it that structure. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it was just a better shoe overall. And I can't really say too much as far as, looking into other people's opinions, but I did see a fair amount of like people complaining in certain posts by not mine only, well, not only mine, but other ones saying like, yeah, I don't like this Uncaged for this reason or that reason. But I haven't really seen many people complaining about these though. So these seem to be doing all right. It's just, again, they got that break-in period for this 4D, which, I mean, it's a cool look, you know what I mean?
Really cool look. I mean, have you broken them in yet? Have you worn them more than once?
I've worn them twice. So,
I know you have a lot of shoes, so it's hard to do that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, I'd like to, because I think the last pair of new shoes that I bought, I went and had them like on through the apartment for like a week or something before I actually wore them anywhere.
Right.
And that was, I think the Terex is, remember, I don't know if you saw that review. It was like a
yellow and black.
Yeah, that's the one. Let's see. How's the sizing on those? I don't know. I haven't put them on, honestly.
Wait, which one's the 21s? If you're talking about the 21s, I mean, they feel like true to size to me. I'm a 13 through everything Adidas, from SL20s to 1, 2, 4 SNLs, all terrains, the guards, 19s, 20s, and now the 21s. It feels like a nice snug fit, not like too tight, anything like that. Not loose in any places. I tried like the 1080 V10s by New Balance because everybody kept talking about them, but they would just not fit the same in like all parts of my foot.
They look about the same as far as length and everything. So I wouldn't be surprised that they fit the same and all that stuff, right? So yeah, I'm gonna assume that Adidas hasn't gone and done anything drastic with the modeling of the shoe, and that it is likely still a true to size fit. But I'll find that out tomorrow, maybe. I don't know. Whenever I do, whenever I get this review worked into my day, because that's why I kind of wanted to do this, because I wanted to break them out and see what they're all about, But maybe I don't feel like doing the review just yet, I should, so I can get it out there and like it can be like early-ish or whatever, and people can watch it. But the way I see it, like most of my reviews don't happen when the shoe is released, right? But the thing is, with a lot of this stuff, it doesn't matter, because people might look at reviews because it's new, but they're going to look deeper into them when they're ready to buy them, which is when the sales start kicking in. So if you get it up at least within like the first like month, 2 months or something, and a lot of the stuff that I generally talk about, from what I've gathered from the old views or the new views on old videos, it's information that's still valid for a while. Because I did my Ultra Boost 20 versus 21 video, like, was that 2 months ago? And a decent amount of people watched that and found some value in it. And neither of those models are very new. So
wait, the 20 versus 21, or like the 19 versus 20?
No, the 20. I mean, yeah, the 19 versus 20. Excuse me. Yeah.
How long have you been sitting on a 21? Like,
Brady is the best of all time, my friends. I don't know what that's talking about.
It's a football reference. There was a Super Bowl played today. I didn't. They just played the one today.
I'm looking at that like I don't understand this. So
Brady, is that what model is that? Is that the Nike Brady?
So yeah, if there was ever any doubt that I'm not a football or any sport other than wrestling guy, play that clip again. Like,
well, okay, to make the analogy for you, so Brady is like the Ric Flair of football, right? It's I feel like Ric Flair, even though like he might have like some people at first like, oh, he like peaked way earlier, but like you realize, oh no, he's been around for like the entire height of wrestling, of pro wrestling. Like he's still a personality out there. He's still like someone who catches everybody's attention and does well, I guess. Brady, on the other hand, just wins, I think, 7 Super Bowls now, which is unheard of. Like I think the most before him was like 4 Super Bowls, and like he just keeps going. I think he's like 40 something, 41, 42. The Hulk Hogan of football, someone says.
The crazy thing, like when you look at people like Hulk Hogan and Ric Flair and stuff, it's like it's as if they were just created somewhere, and then all of a sudden they just burst out onto the scene. It's like you don't really see like young them, like when I watch like current wrestlers, there's always this like, oh yeah, I was a fan when I was growing up, and like they'll show them being like 10 and with like some action figures playing in the backyard. But when you look at like Ric Flair, it's just like it's as if he was always just like 40, and then just got older from there.
It was like designed to be a pro wrestler. It's like what people would probably say about Brady. It's like, oh, he was designed to be a quarterback for 25 years and just never have a down period.
But yeah, I mean, if it's working out for him, well, good for him. Glad he's
good for him.
He's doing all right for himself.
Doing all right, like a Ric Flair. Woo!
Yeah. Ric Flair. I can't believe he's so old and still like actively out there. I mean, I get right now, since all their shows are somewhere in Florida, so he's not really traveling like around every week for these weekly shows. But just the fact that he's like 5,000 years old and is still out there on a daily basis, That's pretty impressive to me. That
Yeah.
really is. But man, I'm not sure. Like, so I guess I'm gonna have to do two reviews or
You're
something.
gonna have to compare those to the all volt yellow, yeah, or the signal green, I guess they call them,
Oh yeah,
20s.
yeah. I'd break those out, but that's a lot of color right now.
Yeah, you're gonna wash out your screen.
This alone, like it adjusts after a second, but man, yeah. So I have to be careful with that one, especially when it's time to shoot that. Otherwise, it'll be crazy in the camera. Hey, DS Kicks, what's going on, man? Just unboxing some Ultra Boost, talking about that whole thing. You might have said it before. What was the first model that you got?
I showed it on my like super duper long Ultra Boost collection. It was like 50 minutes long, but I was just
I
showing
watched
everything. Yeah, you
that.
watched it. You left me some good notes. Thank you. I appreciate
Yeah,
that. Appreciate anybody who's willing to sit. Yeah, you have to watch it in chunks. Yeah, it's like Lord of the Rings. It's like, ooh, I could. I have a week spare. I can watch John do his Ultra Boost collection. But yeah, I think it was. I even like did the spreadsheet thing because I'm like, as someone who loves organization, just having things written down digitally, especially. I've had like a spreadsheet I've kept the last couple of years. It was the anniversary pair of Ultra Boost 4.0s. It was like they're basically all black, I guess a core black model, but they have like the yellow lace tips. They have the yellow
upper, yeah.
torsion. They have the yellow tongue performance label. I don't have them with me right now. They're in the garage, but they became like my go-to pair for the longest time. And then, yeah, I bought a couple more 4.0s, and then I bought my first collaboration. That was the 1.0, the engineered garments. It's like the blue pair with the asymmetrical coloring. Like they have some red and white and yellow kind of spread throughout the pair of shoes, but not on the exact same symmetrical pattern, which I really enjoy. I like the asymmetry. I don't know that I have any other pairs like that, but yeah, I've tried other shoes over the last couple of years and just kept coming back to Ultra Boost. It's like all about Ultra Boost. Like I'm putting like the non-Ultra Boost models up for sale for the most part recently, so I can have an excuse to take on the ones I've been buying. That's right.
And that's my thing. Like that's kind of like why I bought these just last week. These are a couple years old at this point, but they were 50% off on Concepts. So, $90 later, here we are. Because I like to try out the different models. So again, like those Terexes, which are, like some more durable trail shoes, or when I look at those Adizeros, I want to see what those are all about.
Mm-hmm.
And I think there was something else that was Boost related that wasn't an Ultra Boost that I picked up. But
NMD?
it wasn't an NMD. It was, what was it? I don't know. I'd have to see. But I feel like there's something in there in that stack. But again, and still like all the Aniki runners and 5923s and night joggers, like all that stuff,
Oh, day joggers. Did you buy day joggers?
I didn't realize those were a thing until like a couple months ago.
I don't think those are ever announced. I think they just showed up one day and like, whoa, like, okay, didn't think that there was going to be day joggers.
Because like I wasn't a huge fan of the night jogger. I think it's cool. I like the 3M, like so that's one of my interests or whatever. But I didn't really get too deep into.
Wait, 3M is one of your interests, like the brand?
No. So like when I got when I got the night joggers, and I was like, okay, cool. They've got a little bit of flash to them, so that's cool.
Right.
But then like wearing them, I was like, they don't feel like anything amazing, because they felt strangely stiff, But I was like, and they feel very loose.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying it's like to go down half size or anything. It's just like they just feel very loose. Like you have more room in there than you might expect to. Something that a lot of people.
That's what the Prime Knit does. It ruins you. You're like, oh, that's like putting on a sock, like that booty construction. But it's like you try something else with like even like a detached tongue, like night jogger. Yeah, completely different feel.
Yeah. So I just look at all that. I'm like, I bought them to try them out, and I'll continue to do that. it's just now I want to get a little bit more of the Light Strike just to see what all they have going on, because it makes it a little harder in some ways because you can find those in a lot of shoes, but when I search Light Strike on Adidas.com or whatever, not everything comes up that has that shoe in it.
Right.
So then you got to start like those Adizeros. I don't think those came up like that, but I looked at the picture. I'm like, maybe this is something that falls into that criteria, and it does.
Well, it has Boost too. Does the Adizero Pro show up with, like, when you search Boost? Can you search it by technology?
You can filter. Well, wait. I think you can filter by technology. Well, yeah, you definitely can filter by technology, but I don't know why it didn't come up when I typed it in, because I would imagine, right, that if it says it on the screen anywhere, like when you pull up the actual shoe, that should be enough to trigger it to pull up in a search result, right? But no, it didn't work like that, unless the Adidas site was just being weird that day. Let's see. It would be interesting to see Adidas using their Light Strike cushioning in the Ultra Boost 21 model. It's a lot lighter. I mean, and then it wouldn't be an Ultra Boost necessarily, but that's where those FL21s and those random other things come in, because like if they're going to have that same prime knit upper and just go with an all an all Light Strike midsole, they would definitely be able to make this smaller, because they need less space for that. Mm-hmm. So I'd be curious to see, but I'm sure that they have something in the works, or maybe something that's already being promoted. But I don't follow every release that comes out. Sometimes I'm just on the site and they show something and I'm like, oh, that's cool, and then I pick it up. So
let's see, Joey.
Like these, what I'm wearing now. Like I just saw these on their site one day. I'm like, I like slides. Cork seems cool.
Yeah.
Festive. So here we are now.
Oh, that's from the thumbnail. I recognize those.
Yeah.
Let's take a picture of my feet. Did you ever do a review of those?
Yeah, I did. It was when I was going through my slide phase, I think, which hasn't really ended. I just haven't bought any new ones lately. But it was one of those things that I think they were on sale for like $30 or something. I was like, you know what? Let's do this. I like them though. They're pretty comfortable. It's not as comfortable, obviously, as like the Alpha Bounce or the Boost slides or even like the Cloud Foams. But once you've worn them for a bit, because this cork out of the box doesn't feel great, but then it starts to mold. You can kind of tell to an extent that it starts to mold to your foot. You can kind of see like some indentions down in here,
Mm-hmm.
It gets there. It just takes a little bit of time, but you just got to commit to it,
Yeah, no, yeah. I think I have a pair of Croc slides I've had for, I think, 7 years now, and it's just like once it hits summer, that's all I can wear is just something so light and comfortable. Yeah. Oh, I was gonna say, Joey in the comment says, I picked up the white, yellow, and triple black 21s on the 28th. Still waiting for them to come in. I saw an interesting thing online. Adidas is now taking that colorway, the white and yellow colorway, and they're adding it to the 2.0 model, which I thought was really neat. So really neat that they're not forgetting about the 2.0, but they did, I know, do some collaborations with NFL players on like a red and a green pair. But it's really cool to see, like, it's almost like when we take an old video game and you kind of like upscale it to high definition. It's kind of like what they're doing with like the 21 colorway.
Yeah, I know they have been known to, well, I've been seeing them lately do stuff like that, because even with those Ultra 4Ds, I just saw those at Finish Line yesterday, and they had that on just like your standard Ultra Boost. I was like, And personally, like, I kind of like I think it looks a little better for some reason. It might have just been like, maybe those have been out for a while and they're just kind of like worn out, as far as dust and stuff goes. But to me, they looked better with the 4D, but they're probably better overall with the Boost, to be completely honest.
I could see them like with the black Boost, because it would still match that aesthetic.
I think they did have a black Boost. I just don't recall, because it's one of those things I walk through and I just look at stuff. I'm like, oh, because I saw these, because this is a very noticeable thing, that black and white style thing. And I'm like, oh, okay, that's kind of cool. But yeah, I do like the way they did this upper though, with like the different models all kind of intertwined in here. And those being like that line I was talking about that you kind of see. Well, in a way, that's kind of like what this outer black line is. It's a slight similarity there. So yeah, and he's saying that he here at the Ultra Boost 21 is a heavy shoe. I mean, once I actually start wearing these, then that'll make its way into the review. But for right now, I can't call it honestly. They feel the same in hand. Where's those 20s? Yeah, they feel pretty much the same in hand. So I don't know, but I'm not going to commit to that answer just yet.
Ooh, and it says Boost. I just now noticed that it says Boost in the Boost. That is written.
Really?
Yeah, it really does.
Oh wow. Huh. See, and it's little things like that the one thing that kind of sucks about the reviews that I do is most of them are unboxings, right? So, and I do it just like the one shot, one kill sort of approach. So right. I might notice some random things later, and if I care to, I'll work it into like a picture during the review.
Yeah, but I like the little corrections sometimes you post, like, oh no, it was 1953, not 1954 or something like that.
Right. Yeah, I'll do that when I can. And it's just like, it sucks in a way because like I can't really take the whole thing all in because then the review would be so much longer. But doing something like this, now I can pull these things out. I'll be able to look over them a little bit, so when I do the actual review, I can make it all one seamless thing in theory. We'll see how it actually plays out though. But if the first one doesn't go so great, I do have 2 pair. And then the second review will be the good one.
That'll be the good one. That'll be, yeah. Like that second kid. And you're like, we're not going to mess up the second time, right? No,
yeah, right? So,
or just, yeah. Do it good both times, I guess.
Oh, man. But yeah, but I'm going to go ahead and, get this wrapped up and everything. Just wanted to jump on here and I have to have you come back on sometime. We'll some Ultra Boost or whatever, just talk about some things because, it's fun to just kind of sit back and talk once in a while. I normally, truth be told, I only watch so many of like the lives about shoes and really pay attention because I see a lot of shoe stuff during the days and I don't want that to be my whole day. You know what I mean?
Right.
So I'll watch like if I watch a bunch of my friends' reviews and stuff, because I'm not watching them for any informational reasons, because I generally don't, like if it's like a Jordan 13 review, I'm like, I know I'm not going to buy it. I just watch it to see what they have to say about it and what it looks like, I guess. And it's just kind of something in the background.
Mm-hmm.
And so that'll play. And then later it's like, okay, I need to watch something different. And then I listen to Jim Cornette rant about why he hates wrestling nowadays. And that entertains me. So when it comes to like the lives and stuff, like, I don't always do those where I just sit back and do stuff like, go over the shoes. I do that once a month. But something like this, it's a little more interactive in a way. Mm-hmm. And we can sit down and we can talk. And then, maybe next time we just have you bring out some of your favorite pairs because I know like you've got some that you like a little bit more than the others, right?
Yeah, we all do. That's true. We all do.
And then, so maybe maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe we'll do a follow-up, like live, in a few weeks or a month or something like that. Once, we both worn these around a bit.
Yeah.
And bring out some of our other pairs as well. Just do that. That's what do you think? How's that sound?
I think that sounds great. I love that idea. Yeah, I'd love to have the chance to test these out. I'll probably end up shooting some hoops tomorrow in them just to try them out. And I can't promise anything, but just to have that kind of almost wear tester's performance. I'm no Nightwing out there, but it's just because it's just me on a court just shooting by myself. But yeah, I can definitely give like a performance review in a month and talk about maybe some running, basically chasing that for the kids outside and inside and doing some suplexes with them, some elbow drops.
Because the thing is, with shoes like this, it's like you're gonna have the people that are running in them, and then you're gonna have the people that just buy them because they just wear them. I see Ultra Boosts on people all the time that aren't. I'm not to judge the books by their covers or anything, but like I know they're not runners. But they are running shoes, right?
Right.
And so, because sometimes you just want something comfortable. My mom's not a runner; she just likes nice shoes, right?
Right.
And so your perception or your review would be like what they're like compared to your other stuff. And that casual view is what a lot of people want to hear. They don't care about the running thing. Like when I was doing my performance review, it's like, if you're running, blah, blah, blah. If you're not, blah, blah, blah. Take whichever side you need.
Yeah, exactly. I've watched a few running videos about this, and there are some people who love it as a runner and some people who don't. So it's like, right, it's what are you going to use it for in the end? I think like you're saying, I think a lot of people are going to use it for casual because I think a lot more people just casually wear their shoes than run in them. But we can definitely give some feedback to help hopefully in a month.
Yeah, especially when these things start hitting the sale prices and they're trying to move out old ones to bring in the new spring and summer colorways. Yeah, they're gonna be very high on the casual side.
There is a navy blue para, like the navy blue para. It looks a lot like the Kenfolk collaboration of the 1.0 from a couple of years ago, but of the 21s. But I haven't seen them like for sale on sites. And then there's one that has like solar orange stripes, which I think is a really neat look too. But I don't think have officially come out yet.
Yeah, so usually I get on the sites and look at all that stuff. Sometimes they just email me and they're like, "Hey, check these out," and I reluctantly open the emails and click the link. But
just a look. I understand. It's cool.
But I'm gonna put my foot down at least for a little bit because it's like, all right, I got 2 pair. I'll at least wait till more colors start flooding out and dropping down in price. But yeah. So for now, I'll talk to you, later on, and we'll work out a time to kind of jump back on here and do the follow-up and everything. But for now, go ahead and remind people where they can find you other than the link that's in the description.
Sure. What link did you give them in the description? I can actually look right now. Hey, with my channel. Thank you. Yeah. I said this at the top of the however many minutes ago it was, I guess an hour and 7. My friend Jeff and I just finished breaking down the 1987 Schwarzenegger movie, Predator, 1 minute at a time. I posted all those episodes as videos, but those are anywhere you have podcasts, whether that's Apple or what do I use? I use Podcast Republic or Stitcher or Google Play, wherever you listen to podcasts, we're there. I will say there was another Predator Minute podcasts, but their episodes are a lot shorter, and I don't think their content was as in depth. We did a lot of research, and at least I did a lot of research, and Jeff kind of controls like the flow of the conversation. He's way better at that than I am. But we just finished that up, and yeah, you can find it here in the link that you provided. And we're also on Twitter. I don't check Twitter that often. It's something I'm trying to do less and less these days because it's kind of a cesspool if you're in the wrong areas, like in town or something like that. But that's at Predator Minute, and that's where you can find us. Oh, I think my Instagram is what? Is my Instagram Predator Minute Pod or Predator Minute? I'll have to see.
I'll put the link in there. But if you're looking for him on Instagram, if you look, I'll post something after this, and then I'll just tag you in it, so that way people can find you that way. It'll make it easier on both of us.
Yeah. No, thanks so much for having me on. This has been really exciting. We tried to do something similar. It was like a recap, like a year ago. It was like April or May, but that didn't work out. But this has been way fun. I could go on forever about Ultra Boost. Obviously, wearing them, I'm holding them. It's like I could, just be dressed in all Ultra Boost. Then I would if I could.
Like when they used to make the track suits or whatever, like Run DMC.
Right. My Adidas.
But yeah, so that's it. And again, thank you for coming through and everything. This was a good time. So we'll definitely have to do that follow up later.
Yeah,
but for now, have a nice rest of your day or rest of your night, whatever it is, wherever you are. To everybody that's out there, thank you to all the guys that came through in the chat and everything. I tried to answer the questions as I could, but sometimes you get wrapped up in the conversations. It happens. Don't take it the wrong way. But come on back some other time and just keep the notifications on if you're into that sort of thing. And that's probably the best way to know when this happens again, because I don't always do a good job of promoting things on Instagram. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. It's just kind of luck of the draw. But if you're familiar with the channel or make yourself familiar with it, that's really going to be the best way to know what's going on. Maybe I should make a newsletter or something. Like 1998. But
a newsletter, I like it. A blog spot.
All right. All right. But thanks, everybody. Seriously. And we'll see you later. Okay, go ahead and end the broadcast.